Hi everyone, my name's Ashley. I'm the Philanthropy Manager here at The Hive, where we'll see you soon. Thank you for tuning in to Hive Minds, our new podcast where our young people will be interviewing industry leaders and public figures about their career insights and professional journeys. The overarching objective and purpose of these podcasts is to encourage our young people to be the very best version of themselves and to gain inspiration from others to help them be the very best version of themselves. Now, our first guest is Donna Scully, who is one of the most empathetic, astute business leaders that I've ever come across, and is a beautiful person inside and out. So she was the perfect person to be our first victim. Our young people have been involved from the very beginning. Our media squad filmed and helped to edit the podcast, and our young people helped to shape the questions too. So this is a new concept that we're going to improve and develop every time, but thank you so much for your time. Enjoy.
Hello and welcome everybody to the first Hive Mind broadcast. My name is Ben, aged 11, and I am junior member here at the Hive.
And my name is Jake. I'm 16 and a young leader here. A huge welcome to our first guest, Donna Scully from Carpenters Group. Please tell us your job title and what do you do?
Hello, firstly I'm delighted to be here and to be your first guest, so thank you for inviting me. My name is Donna Scully and I'm a director and a joint owner of Carpenters Group. I'm also a qualified lawyer, and at the moment the kind of things I do is I'm more like strategic and stuff, and as an owner rather than doing the kind of the day-to-day stuff, but yeah, that's what I do.
When you were a child, what did you want to be when you grew up?
I think I probably wanted to be on the stage, if I'm being honest. I used to love to sing and dance, but I'm not very good at either of them. Probably better dancer than singer. But I love kind of acting at school. If there's any shows on or anything, I'd be like first in the queue to get picked. But yeah, that was kind of early on. I mean, that didn't work out obviously, but I think that was probably where I wanted to be on the stage.
What grades did you get in school?
Oh God. I wasn't bad at school. I was quite good at school in the sense I didn't find it that hard, but I don't think I worked hard enough. So I think if I'd have worked hard and I wasn't bad, I would have got better grades. But I kind of scraped through and get like A's and B's and stuff. I don't remember failing anything at school, but I probably didn't do my best, if I'm being honest.
What was your first job?
My first job, I worked in a Christmas market when I was about 14. My aunt had a stall there and she sold like Christmas stuff, and she brought me along and I was selling Christmas wrapping paper and stuff for her. So that was the first money I ever earned. That was really good. And then as a main job, when I left school, I did like a secretarial course and I became an office junior. So that's kind of like someone does the photocopying, delivers letters when they used to be letters, not emails. So that was it. I kind of came as an office junior and then sort of worked my way up. But I think the Christmas market was the very first time I got money.
You are now a leader at Carpenters Group. What advice would you give to a young person who might want to enter into the insurance and legal sector?
I always say when I'm like talking to young people that you should work hard. That it really does work. I know it's really boring, and I think the other thing is to be curious and to take opportunities that come along. I mean, one of the things that we do at Carpenters is we go out to schools and we tell them about what we do and the job opportunities that are there. So I'd say to you, if anybody comes along to your school or you hear of any those kind of fairs where you can look at people coming in and talk to them, make sure you go and talk to them and ask them about what's on offer. We also have a great website, so I do say to young people as well, have a look at the website and see what we've got going and if there's anything there. And like me, sometimes coming in at the bottom level, you can come in and then work your way up. So it doesn't mean when you go in, like me as an office junior, that you're going to stay an office junior if you don't want to. Hopefully there'll be opportunity there for you to work hard and to move on and to get whatever job you want in the business in the end.
What are your hobbies and interests, and how do you find ways to chill?
Well, that's taken me years to find the answer to that. If you'd asked me this about 20 years ago, I would have had no hobbies, and I probably never chilled because I was working really hard and I had like young twin boys as well. But now I've got a bit more sense. So about 10 years ago I took up Pilates, that keep fit, bit like yoga, and I do that a lot, and I really enjoy that, and that's made me feel a lot better. I used to have a really bad back and now I'm okay. I go walking. I like listening to podcasts, funny enough. I think they're really interesting and I think you learn loads of stuff from them. I go and watch Liverpool Football Club. I'm a season ticket holder. And I do try to relax a bit more than I used to. And like look after myself, and I really tell young people that I talk to, I go to them, make sure you make time for yourself, make sure that you rest, because I wasn't very good at that when I was younger, and I think it is really important to do that as well.
What do you think of the Hive, and what is your favourite room?
I think the Hive is unbelievable. I think the word I use for it a lot is incredible. I think I knew about it before I came, and then when I walked in, I just couldn't kind of comprehend how big it was to start with, and how much variety is on offer. And today, like, I've come in half term, haven't I? And I've seen even more stuff going on, and people saying, can I do this, can I do that? And it's like so much choice for them. Whether you like cooking, or you like, climbing walls, or you like throwing beanbags through holes, as I've just done outside. So I think for me, it's incredibly professional. I think the people who volunteer or who work here are amazing. I think I kind of come from a similar area to around here in Dublin, so I just kind of go, I wish I'd had the Hive when I was young. We played on the streets a lot and we didn't really have much to do, and it was quite boring, so I would love to have come here and done all the things. So I always say to people who haven't been, who hear great things about it, you have to go. I don't think you can really explain what the Hive is or how brilliant it is unless you come here and feel the vibe and meet people like you too, and so on. So it's incredible.
Who is your hero, and is there anyone that has really inspired you in your career?
Well, this is very boring and he's probably sick of hearing it, but my hero is my husband, John, and he works with me, which people say that's really weird because obviously we're married and we work together, but he's a very supportive person. He's very kind, but then he does this other thing where he pushes me to do more, to learn more, to try new things that I don't know if I would have done as much if he hadn't been there kind of pushing me. But he's always very supportive as well, so if you mess up, he never gives out. And I think if you have someone like that, you don't mind having a go and failing and whatever. So I think he's my hero. I have met people along the way who I've met at work who've been brilliant as well and have inspired me. And I think sometimes you watch people maybe around here, you might see them, some of the people who work here are volunteers, and just the way they the way they behave, their kindness, their sense of humour, things like that really attract you to people, and you can learn a lot from them. And I think you can learn loads from bad people as well, by the way. Like, that's not how to do it. I don't want to be like that. So I think you can learn from good and bad, but yeah, if I had to pick one, it would be John Carpenter, I think.
If you didn't have the job you have now, what job would you be doing?
This is a funny question, because I kind of fell into law, because I became an office junior in a law firm. Then I became a secretary in a law firm, so I kind of fell into law in a way, and then I ended up studying law to become a lawyer. So I never got a chance to try anything else. I've literally been in law since I was about age 17. But I think one of the things that people say to me is that I'm probably good at selling. I could probably talk you into buying anything or doing something that you didn't want to do, so maybe sales might have worked for me. I mean, I'd love to say I would love to be on the stage, which I started out by wanting to do, but really I don't have the talent for that. Certainly the singing is really bad, makes your ears bleed. So I think I'd have to say maybe sales.
This is something we ask everybody wanting to work at the Hive. Could you please tell us a joke?
Oh my god. I don't think I have a joke. Oh my god. Do you think I need to learn a joke? You could have warned me to learn a joke for this, couldn't you, really? If you were my friend. I should have read down through the questions, shouldn't I? A joke. Okay, here's a really, really bad joke from about when I can't remember how young I was. So why did the chicken cross the road? To get to the other side. Ooh. Is that the worst joke you ever heard?
Can you tell us about your role with the Girls Network and why you feel mentoring is important?
Well, the Girls Network is a charity that was set up by 2 school teachers in London who saw an opening or saw a problem for young girls from difficult backgrounds where they weren't really getting an opportunity to progress into education, into jobs, into apprenticeships and things like that. So they set up the Girls Network, and the Girls Network is all around the country, and it's based in schools. So you go through a school. So I signed up for the Girls Network, did a bit of training, and then they allocate me to a school. And again, those schools are in difficult, tough areas as well, where people need more help, like the area that I come from. And I suppose the attraction for me about the Girls Network was that I wish they'd been around when I was 16. When I was in Dublin and I was going to leave school, they might have taught me out of it. So I've mentored a few girls now. One of them actually is working at Carpenters part-time and she's studying, which is brilliant. But so when I meet them, and actually the one I'm mentoring at the moment, she said to me, you're kind of telling me not to do all the things that you did, which is true, because all the mistakes I made, I don't want her to make. So I think it's a really great idea, and I think mentoring generally is really good, because I think the people who mentor like me have made lots of mistakes, but then some things have gone well for us, and I think we should pass on the information and the things we've learned, and we should also try to support people to get more people like us, get the opportunities that we deserve. I kind of go, well, everyone deserves to dream, don't they, and to reach their kind of potential. So anyway, that's why I mentor, and that's why I think the Girls Network's brilliant.
You were recently named Merseyside Woman of the Year. Tell us more about that and how it made you feel.
I suspect that Ashley might have told you about this, but we'll see her later. But last year somebody nominated me, because you nominate somebody and then the judges look at it and the public does a vote and then they pick somebody. So I went along last year to the kind of award ceremony, and you don't know you've won till they call out your name, so that's amazing and shocking. But it was brilliant, obviously, because I didn't expect it. There was 20 of us, and then I got called out at the end as the winner. I loved it for 2 reasons. One is I love Merseyside. I think Merseyside has great women who help do a lot. You have a lot of them here, haven't you, volunteering and working here. And I think as well, I'm the first Irish woman to win it. So that was obviously brilliant from my point of view. A lot of Irish women came over here to live, to emigrate over here, so that was really good. But I think the other thing, it's helped me to meet a lot of great people through that network. The people that I'm kind of alongside the other finalists. So I've met loads of new people. I've gone to loads of new things. I've done some podcasts like this. I'm the new one will be chosen in June this year, so I'm only Merseyside Woman of the Year till June. But yeah, it's been brilliant and very humbling, really.
You are very supportive of charitable causes. Why do you help others?
I do get asked this question a lot, actually. I think it's for 2 reasons. I think one is my granny brought me up and she was a very kind person and she just did kindness naturally. So if you're growing up with that and you see it, it becomes normal for you, doesn't it? And you just think this is how you're supposed to be. I think the second thing is I come from a very basic background. I didn't have that much opportunity, and I have had a bit of success. Things have gone well for me in certain areas. So I kind of feel like I want to give back to help other people, because I know what it's like. I've been there. I said to you I'd love there to be a hive where I lived. I'd have been here every day signing up for everything. I also, I heard that there's people here who've come to the hive for years and will come back as volunteers, and they're the same as me. They just want to probably help other people because they got help. So I think really, if I think about it, that's the main reason, I imagine, is because I know what it's like to to not have a lot, and to get support and to get help, and then you really appreciate it and you want to pass it on. So I think that's the reason.
And now for the last question. We'll be asking all of our guests on Hive Minds, what would you tell your 16-year self?
I have thought about this, so this is not too bad. I left school early. I didn't stay on to do my A-levels. So I'd certainly be saying to myself, I should have thought about that a bit more maybe. I didn't realise how much opportunity there was out there, especially for someone like me because of my background, and leaving school early. So I'd be saying, you can do whatever you want to do if you believe it, if you work hard, and take every opportunity that comes along. I think the other big thing I'd say to myself at 16 was to be a bit nicer to myself. I was very hard on myself. I was very ambitious, driven, and I wanted to be perfect as well. I wanted to do everything perfectly, and I think when I look back, you learn by failing, by getting things wrong and being very nice to yourself. So I think I would say be nice to myself and to believe in myself more and to have patience, because I think at 16 you want everything to be in its place. Like, people go, what do you want to do, and you're supposed to have all the answers. The truth is you don't. Like, that comes as you progress. Like, I only knew I wanted to do law when I ended up working in a law firm as an office junior, because I realised after a few years I'd like to study law. So I wouldn't have known that at 16. So, just kind of, that don't sweat the small stuff. That's what I'd be saying to my 16-year-old self.
Thanks so much for coming in, Donna. We loved having you with us. Please join us next time for an interview with Mike Hill, Managing Director of Camelot.